welcome back to another week of Techy Tuesday. Today's video we'll be talking about how to export your ChatGPT history and pick right up in Claude. This is part of our Claude series. If you haven't seen a couple of our other Claude videos, go back and watch those. It'll teach you how to make a project, how to make a skill, and an overview of Claude versus ChatGPT. If you've been using ChatGPT for a while, whether that's writing listing descriptions, drafting emails to clients, or just figuring out what to say in a tricky situation, you've probably built up a solid history of conversations in there. And if you're thinking about making the switch to Claude, or even just want to start using both, you don't have to leave all of that behind. Today I'm going to show you how to export your ChatGPT history and get it into Claude so you can pick right up where you left off. Before we jump into the steps, let me explain why this is actually worth doing. Your ChatGPT history is more valuable than you might think. Every conversation you've had in there is basically a record of how you think about your business. The way you asked it to write a certain type of email, the tone you told it to use, the neighborhoods you work in, the type of clients you help, all of that context lives in those old chats. When you export that history and bring it into Claude, you now have a reference point. Instead of starting from scratch and re-explaining yourself to a brand new AI, you can say, hey, here's what I've been working on, and Claude can pick up with that full picture in mind. For agents here in San Antonio, think about it this way. If you spent months fine-tuning how you talk about the Hill Country market or how you write follow-up emails after Alamo Heights showings, that work doesn't just have to disappear just because you're switching tools. All right, let's get into it. First, we're going to go to ChatGPT and we're going to request your data export. We're going to go and click on your profile icon. We're going to click on Settings. And then over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see Data Controls. On the right, towards the bottom, you're going to see Export Data. Now here it's going to let you know that everything will be included in the exports. It's going to be sent to your registered email in a downloadable file. That link will expire 24 hours after you receive it, and it may take some time. I will preface that I did have to wait a couple days for this export to show up. When you ask ChatGPT, it says anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. Mine took a little bit over 2 days. So keep that in mind. If you don't get it right away, that is okay. When I click on Confirm Export, it's then going to ask me to verify myself. Now, after you verify yourself, it's going to take you right back here. You will have to click Export Data again, and then you're going to get a bar across the top that says, your export has started. You'll receive an email with more details. ChatGPT is going to send a download link to your email address on your account. This usually takes anywhere from a few minutes to a couple of days, depending on how much data you have. So if it doesn't show up right away, give it a little bit of time. Now, once you receive that email, it's going to say your data export is ready. There's going to be a button to download that data export, and it's going to be saved to your device. It'll be downloaded as a zip file, so you'll have to go in and unzip that file. If you want to extract it, it'll be a right-click and select Extract All, or if you're on a Mac, you just double-click it to unzip it. Inside that folder, you'll see a handful of files. The one we care about is called conversations.json. That's the file that contains all of your actual chat history. Now, a .json file is not something you just open and read like a normal document. It's formatted for computers, not for people. We're going to bring it into Claude and let Claude do the work for you. We're going to head over to Claude. We're going to open a new conversation and look for the paperclip or attachment icon or the plus sign at the bottom of the chat window. You're going to click on Add File button. You're going to find that file. Once it's attached, you're going to type a message to Claude telling it what you want it to do with the file. You're going to say something like, I'm uploading my full ChatGPT history. Please review it, give me a summary of main topics I've been working on, the tone and style I tend to use, and any patterns you notice in how I use AI for my real estate business. Something like this works really well as a starting point. You're essentially asking Claude to read through your history and give you a snapshot of how you've been using AI so far. So when you're ready, you're going to press this little arrow here and send it over to Claude. Claude is going to read through your ChatGPT history, building a picture of how you work. From here, you can ask it to reference specific conversations, match a tone you used before, or just keep that context handy as you start building new habits in Claude. What's especially useful is that you can upload this file into a Claude project, which is kind of like a dedicated workspace inside of Claude. We did a past video on this recently. That way your history is always accessible anytime you open that project, without having to re-upload it every time. If you have not seen our projects video, go check that out. And that's it, 3 steps. Export from ChatGPT, download the file, and bring it into Claude. You don't have to start over from scratch. You don't have to choose one tool and abandon the other. You've already done the work. Now you're just bringing it with you. If you have questions or there's a topic you want us to cover on a future Techy Tuesday, please drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. See you next Tuesday.